How will it look if there is only one Korea now? Because both North and South Korea are pretty similar in many ways. Even culturally, the language is almost the same. Originally, the Korean peninsula was a united territory under the Joseon dynasty that ruled over the region for more than 500 years. So what happens? How could a country so united split into two? The answer is war, but it is not that simple. Before the Second World War, there was a war called First Sino-Japanese War. The war was between Japan and China from 1884 to 1895. The Qing dynasty of China fought against the Japanese empire over who should control Korea, ending in the victory of Japan. As a result, Japan added the Korean peninsula to it. Thus, from 1910 until 1945, Korea was a Japanese colony. As World War II came closer in 1945, it became clear to the Allied powers US and Soviet Union that they would have to take over the administration of Japan's occupied territories, including Korea. The US government knew that it would administer the Philippines as well as the Japan itself, so Korea just wasn't a very high priority for the US. Soviet Union, on the other hand, were more than willing to step in and take control of lands. Just 5 days before Japan surrendered, two US officials, Dean Rusk and Charles Bonestell, were given the task of delineating the US occupation zone in East Asia. But without consulting any Koreans, they arbitrarily decided to cut Korea roughly in half along the 38th parallel of latitude and ensuring that the capital city of Seoul, the largest city in the peninsula, would be in the American section. The Japanese forces in northern Korea surrendered to the Soviet Union, while those in southern Korea surrendered to the Americans. Then South Korean political parties quickly formed and put forward their own candidates and plans for forming a government in Seoul. But the US and the USSR were supposed to arrange for nationwide elections to reunify Korea in 1948, but neither side trusted the other. The US wanted the entire peninsula to be democratic and capitalist, while the Soviet Union wanted it to be all communist. So at the end of World War II, the US essentially appointed the anti-communist leader Syngman Rhee to rule South Korea. The South declared itself a nation in May 1948. Rhee was the first president. Meanwhile, in North Korea, the Soviet Union appointed Kim Il-sung, who had served during the war as a major in the Soviet Red Army, as the new leader of their occupation zone. By 1949, statues of Kim Il-sung were springing up all over North Korea, and he had dubbed himself as the great leader. In 1950, Kim Il-sung decided to try to reunify Korea under communist rule. He launched an attack on South Korea. South Korea fought back against North Korea, supported by the United Nations, and manned with troops from the United States, killed more than 3 million Koreans and UN and Chinese forces, which turned into the 3-year-long Korean War. A treaty was signed at Panmunjom on July 27, 1953, and two countries ended up back where they started, divided along the 38th parallel, created one demilitarized zone at the 38th parallel. Today, North Korea and South Korea are not only separated politically and geographically, but almost 7 decades of separation has turned them into different worlds. South Korea is among the trillion-dollar economics, while North Korea population still survives on aid. The two nations have different citizens' rights, laws and order, economies, societies and daily life. But the history of thousands of years of Korea as a unified nation will always be a reminder of its arbitrary division. In the end, don't forget to share this important information with your friends. Please subscribe and share. Please don't forget to hit the bell icon.